Welcome, one and all, to the webinar session on augmented reality and virtual reality in the series of webinar under Education 4.0 workshop. I, Sangeeta Kotecha, Head of Electrical Engineering Department, Athar College of Engineering, takes the privilege to introduce today's prominent speaker, Dr. Rajesh Bhuktar, Professor, Dean Academic, and Head of Mechanical Engineering Department at Sardar Patel College of Engineering, Mumbai. Sir is experienced mechanical engineer with a demonstrated history of working in higher education professional with BE from Government Engineering College, Aurangabad, ME in CAD/CAM from SDGS College, Nanded, and PhD from Mumbai University, focused in perpetuating information and communication technology integration in Indian auto component industries. Sir has more than 20 years of experience. In the academic journey, he had implemented choice-based credit system AICTE model scheme 2018 in AICTE reforms. He had guided many postgraduate students and presently guiding PhD students. His publication includes 15 international journal papers, 10 international conference papers, and 13 national conference papers. Presently working in the areas of Industry 4.0, Internet of Things in manufacturing, augmented reality, virtual reality, machine learning, deep learning, digital manufacturing, virtual manufacturing. We all welcome Sir. We appreciate you for taking time to share your knowledge among us. Now, I kindly request Dr. Rajesh Bhuktar Sir to start the session on augmented reality and virtual reality. Sir, please.
A very good evening to all the participants, and on behalf of Athar Engineering College, I welcome all the participants for this today's talk. I also take this opportunity to thank Dr. Kallurkar and the management of Athar Engineering Colleges for giving me an opportunity to deliver this talk. At the same time, I also appreciate the efforts of Dr. Kallurkar sir and his team for organizing this virtual workshop in the times of COVID-19, the lockdown period. So this is the time where the budding engineers, the researchers, they can utilize this opportunity for creating the footprints of new technologies in their mind. So today I'll be delivering a talk on the topic that is augmented reality in education 4. So up till now we have heard about the word education, but today we'll be discussing about education 4. So let's try to understand what do you mean by education 4. So to understand education 4, first we'll try to understand why we have to talk about education 4. So for that we have to understand industry 4, and let's try to correlate what is how industry 4 and education 4 they are correlated with each other. So anybody aware about industry 4? So many of the participants among you might be aware, few may not be aware. Okay, so let's discuss and try to understand what is industry 4. So coming to the slide on industry 4, industry 4 is nothing but fourth industrial revolution. So we are living in fourth industrial revolution. So in the slide I have given the era of different industrial revolution. So you can see in the year from 1700 to 1800 there was first industrial revolution, the second industrial revolution in the year 1800 to 1900, and the third industrial revolution between 1900 to 2000 was the third industrial revolution, and from 2000 onwards to 2020 till date we are seeing the era of fourth industrial revolution. Now going ahead, let's try to understand what were the different events or technologies or initiatives which happened in those revolutions. So in the first industrial revolution, there was steam engine, invention of steam engine and mechanization. In the second industrial revolution, it was era of mass production using electrical energy. And third industrial revolution, it was a era of computerization and automation. So we were, I think, many of us were part and parcel of this third industrial revolution, where we saw a lot of computerization and automation. And till date, much of the things still in the industry are going or focused on automation only. But in the fourth industrial revolution, we will be dealing with connectivity. So what is the main difference between the third industrial revolution and the fourth industrial revolution? Connectivity is the main difference between third and fourth industrial revolution, because till third industrial revolution there were machines, man, people were there, okay, but there was no talking between man and machine, machine and man. Machine could not speak uh, about themselves, nor they were able to speak with the human beings. So because of the connectivity in the fourth industrial revolution, the man to machine and machine to man interface or talking takes place. So let's try to understand how this connectivity between man to machine and machine to man happens. So in the next slide, I have enlisted the enabling technologies in Industry 4. So the same technology will also be applicable to Education 4 also, because these technologies now the industries they have started implementing, adopting or integrating in their industries. Okay, so they require a lot of talent pool, workforce who are expert in these technologies. And the talent pool, and as we all know, this talent pool and workforce, it comes from the higher and technical engineering educations, and from many of the arts and commerce colleges also. So you can see here, I have enlisted almost 8 to 9 technologies. The first is augmented reality technology, virtual reality, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, in which there is machine learning and deep learning. Then next is big data analytics, cloud computing, 3D printing, digital simulation, robotics or cobots. So these are the 9 to 10 technologies which are very important in Industry 4 or the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, so now a footprint of this technology is created in the minds of the students. Okay, so moving on to next slide, let's try to understand what is the significance of Education 4. Why we have to study and understand Education 4? The reason is, shortly the smart and connected products are going to be launched in the market, and connected cars, they are going to be launched after 2025. So there will be connected cars on the road after the year 2025. And also government is planning for developing smart cities, and therefore smart home will be automatically need to be developed. Then smart farming is initiated, smart retail is going on, and for which smart supply chain is also needed. So all these are going to be required in the present and in the near coming future, and therefore it is very important for everybody, maybe a engineer, maybe a student from arts and commerce, to understand all these technologies. And these technologies are not specific to any domain, they are interdisciplinary technologies. Therefore it becomes a onus on everybody, maybe from field of engineering or maybe from field of arts or commerce, he can understand this technology. So a person who is having good common sense or good logic, he can understand all these technologies. Therefore it is giving opportunity to everybody. Okay, so I understand that there are few participants from arts and commerce side also. So I have listed the few areas from their side, like history, English, philosophy, psychology, political science, Marathi, Hindi. So these are the areas where you can use all these different technologies. Going further, now let's try to understand what this augmented reality technology is. how this technology works, what are the enabling technologies which are used in this technology, and what are the different hardware and softwares that are used. So let's try to understand. So what do you mean by augmented reality? Augmented reality is nothing but it is the overlay of digital content into the real world. It means that this technology gives an opportunity for the virtual world and the real world to coexist. So, utilizing this opportunity, we can think about many applications for which this technology can be used. The digital content can be 2D tags, 3D model, graphics, animation sequences, GPS information, and wave information, and many more. How does augmented reality work? So you can see here there is a block diagram given in which the first step is to create a 3D model. You can create a 3D model in any CAD software like AutoCAD, Pro Engineering, CATIA. The second step is augmented reality software, wherein you need to attach a code. Attach a code means attach the 3D model which is developed in CAD software, attach that 3D model with a 2D code. So before attaching, you have to import that 3D model from the CAD software to augmented reality software. So once it comes in augmented reality software, that 3D model is attached with a code or a 2D image. And the third step is scan code through app downloaded in smartphone to view AR content. So there are free apps which are available on our Play Store. You can download one of the app and you can scan that 2D image. And once you scan that 2D image, automatically you will be able to see the 3D model which is available in augmented reality software on your mobile. So how this digital content are overlaid means how we are able to see the CAD model on our mobile. So the reason is the technologies which are used in augmented reality. So there are two technologies which we would like to understand, that is computer vision technology and the sensor technology. Computer vision algorithms are used for understanding the 3D world from the 2D image. So 2D image is called as a marker or it's just like a Paytm code. You scan the Paytm code and then you start looking at the what you say these payment options are visible to you. So similarly you scan this marker or the 2D code and the 3D model will be visible on your computer screen. So computer vision algorithms, they are responsible for understanding the 3D world through the camera. So in the real world this marker is kept. So thanks to the deep learning algorithms which help to recognize the pattern in the 2D image. Once the pattern is recognized, then the 3D model or the content which is stored in augmented reality software, it is triggered and it is then visible on our computer screen. So that is how the digital content is visible in our mobile. So that is how the augmented reality technology works. So the also, as I said, a lot of sensors are there. Sensors like accelerometer, gyroscope, digital compass, GPS. These are also responsible for positioning the AR object in the real world properly. So these are the few softwares which I have listed. Euphoria from PTC, that is Parametric Technology Corporation. It is a leading company in augmented reality. Unity is another software used for augmented reality. Software Developer Kit, Aurasma, Dakri Studio. There are a lot of softwares which we can find on Google. Then the hardware part. The hardware which are used in augmented reality are head-mounted display, smartphone, tablet, handheld device, Microsoft HoloLens, and smart glasses. After developing now the basic understanding about augmented reality technology, that how that technology works, what are the different hardware and softwares that are used in that technology. Now, now one should start thinking about how to apply this technology in various fields. So a mechanical engineer should start thinking from his perspective. A electronics engineer should start thinking from his perspective. A civil engineer should start thinking from his perspective, because this is a technology, as I said, it is an interdisciplinary technology. So many other engineers, they can apply this technology in their own fields. Okay, so similarly we are faculty, so we can think about how to apply this technology in education. So that is the first application we can think about, but there are many applications like in tourism, medical department, then in pharmaceutical industries, automotive industries, auto component industries. This technology can be applied in various areas. So now, why we have to bring this technology in education? Because the main reason is to engage and empower our students with augmented reality technology. So once our students become familiar with this technology, they will soon develop expertise in that area. And whatever the today's jobs that are offered, they'll be able to capitalize onto those jobs. So once the student they achieve expertise, they will be able to capitalize the job like AR experts. So many of the students, they have developed expertise in developing CAD models, 3D CAD models. So now where to leverage this expertise? So augmented reality technology is offering the opportunity to the students to leverage their CAD skills in augmented reality. Now integrate industry 4 technology in education 4. So technology, so augmented reality, as I said, it is a technology, therefore integration of this technology in academics is very important. So since it is education 4 also, industry 4 also, we would like to understand technology integration process from industry point of view, how industries they are integrating their technology. This technology is integrated in the industry in the technology integration department. So industries are having a separate technology integration department wherein they are integrating newly coming technologies, and they are integrating these technologies 10 years before for the products which are coming in the market 10 year after. So similarly, this is possible because they are having technology integration department, but such technology integration department is not there in our academic fraternity. Therefore the higher and technical engineering education governing bodies like AICTE, UGC, they should think that they should think of having such type of technology adoption or integration department, because of which technologies will be integrated in advance 10 years before, so that they will be useful, or this technology will then be offered for the next generation crowd which will be coming after 10 years. So that is the main thought in that. So once the technology is integrated, the technology can act as a differentiator. Why we are going to talk about technology? Because augmented reality is also one of the technology. Therefore you can see technology can act as a differentiator, force multiplier, and resource multiplier. It means that if a company integrates a new technology, so that it will go up in value chain, and where other company will be the laggards. So the same thing can happen to academic institute also. So if an academic institute integrates a technology 5 years down the line, then it will go up 5 years in the value chain as compared to the other engineering institutes. So if you want to integrate the technology, then we should be good technology trackers. We should be able to track the technology at proper pace, uh, so that if that technology tracked is tracked within the time, then we can integrate before our competitors do. And the other thing is that technology disruption also we need to understand. Technology disruption means if a technology has the capability of being disruptive, it means that it the newer technology which we integrate has the capability to eradicate the old ways and methods of working from the market. So that is very important. So you can take an example of a television. So earlier television they were having CRT, cathode ray tubes, and now the latest television they are having the TFT monitors. So, if a person who has done investment in manufacturing televisions, if he is not a technology tracker, so in that case, what will happen? He will go on developing his business by manufacturing televisions having CRT, but there will be no purchaser in the market, because by then the customer would have changed their choice to the TFT monitors, portable televisions. Whereas the old television it will require lot of space, whereas the newer television they will require less space as they are portable. So this is the disruptive effect of the technology. Therefore, one should bother about the concept of technology integration. So once a engineering institute or industry integrates the technology, then it will have a good unique selling point, that is USP. It will get an early bird advantage as compared to their competitors. And the last point is that the engineering students or the arts commerce students, if they understand this technology well in advance, then instead for looking for a job, they will be able to start their own startup model. Like I have met 6 months down the line to a couple of students who were from arts and commerce background, and they had developed expertise in virtual reality technology. And I understand that they are bagging good projects from the leading Indian industries in the range of 5 to 10 lakhs. So this is the scenario which can be created. So application of augmented reality for the subject of engineering graphics. So up till now we have discussed a lot of applications regarding augmented reality, that it can be used in say education, tourism, pharmaceutical industries, medical industries. So similarly, one of the good application of augmented reality is remote maintenance also. So remote maintenance is anyway required as far as Industry 4 is concerned. But in today's COVID-19 lockdown period, remotely if we can get some solution that is sensible. So this technology offers opportunity to get the solution remotely, because as now we are already aware that how we are going to get the 3D model. You have to just scan through a mobile, you will get the 3D model. If suppose if vehicle is failed at some remote area, okay, and they want to disassemble a particular component and fix up some another component, so in that case how to perform the disassembly? For that a expert mechanic is required. So in absence of that, the people will not be able to perform those operations. But because now augmented reality technology is there, you can scan the particular code, and upon scanning that, it will give a complete sequence of disassembling that assembly of your car at a particular location where the component has failed, and then you can get the things done, you can get the things repaired. So that is one of the good advantage of augmented reality in remote maintenance as well. But now, as I said, being a faculty member, I would like to integrate this technology in my teaching learning. So that was my prime aim. So at Sardar Patel College of Engineering, we decided to integrate this technology for teaching the subject of engineering graphics. So why we integrated this technology for engineering graphics? You can see the reasons. Engineering graphics is the subject of transferring information from design into manufacturing, developing ability to create and read graphical representation of drawing is essential for students. So drawing or engineering graphics is a language of engineers. So engineers should be able to read the drawings properly, clearly. But when we see that the budding engineers, when they are studying in the first year, they face a lot of difficulties in visualization of a 3D model. So visualization is the word now I have captured here, and augmented reality is the technology which offers biggest benefit in the field of visualization only. So now that is how the visualization power or capability of augmented reality technology can be unleashed in the subject of engineering graphics and many other subjects as well. So you have to think accordingly. So sky is the limit. You can think about any application and you can correlate with augmented reality. Therefore, training students able to use the graphical language to communicate is vital in every engineering college. However, in the classroom where lecture time is limited, it is hard for the instructors to illustrate clearly the relationship between the 3D geometry and their 2D projection using only one kind of presenting technique. So old techniques which the faculties used to make the visualization power clear of the students was they use 3D these wooden blocks, 3D models of wooden blocks or the plastic models they were using. But the models they were available only in the say college. So after going to college, it was not possible for the students to what do you say to take those models at home and improve their visualization. An online AR system specifically designed for instruction engineering graphics is developed. The system aims at improving the spatial awareness, that is the 3D awareness, visualization in 3D space and interest of learning to the students. So accordingly, we have developed a case study to document the benefits of augmented reality in the subject of engineering graphics. So here again this slide says that AR technology typically provides visualization aids that bridge the gap between physical prototype and digital computer models. So earlier we used to use wooden models, 3D models. So now because CAD softwares came, therefore we started making use of the digital computer models. But even though if you want to access the 3D models, then somebody has to go in the say laboratory where the softwares are available. So if you imagine a scenario when somebody is not in say class or in the practical room, but he is at home or away from college, and still he want to understand this. So that was not possible. So with the advent of this technology of augmented reality, now it is possible to access those 3D models 24/7 anywhere at any point of time. So you can see this is the figure where the students they have to convert the 3D model into 2D models. So you can see the red colored 3D model is given and that need to be represented in the form of 2D, that is orthographic. The red one is called as isometric, and the model with lines it's called as orthographic orthographic projections. In the next slide you can see the 2D views of the object are given, and looking at the 2D the student had to create the 3D model. So it becomes difficult for the students to imagine a 3D view from a given 2D view. So this technology can be used to solve this problem. So another examples are given. You can see another complicated model is given. Cylinder splits are present in that model. Student had to visualize that. But if that model it could be broken into simple objects, then also it becomes very easy for the student. And in our CAD software language we call it as a exploded view. So with just a click of the button we can get this exploded view of the 3D model. But now again the same problem is that that exploded view is available in the desktop. Okay, so we are talking that these all views should be or can be made available to the students 24 by 7 anytime anywhere. This is also another problem of a sectional view. So the object is cut from the middle and the student has to draw the sectional view of the object. So for that also student here also they face the problem of visualization, that which object is actually cut, how the parts are cut and how they need to be represented by shading that particular part, showing that the part is cut by a particular cutting plane. So we were in a process of integrating this technology in the classroom. So these are the reasons for integrating augmented reality technology in the classroom. So you can see the first reason is eye-catching presentation. Obviously, there is no need to explain. Interactive lessons will be there because the students will be having their own mobile, the software in their mobile. They can scan the code and they can see the 3D models very near to them. They can analyze and they can discuss interactively with the faculty during the classroom session. Obviously, the third point is portable and less expensive learning materials. So as compared to other materials, this is very portable, as everybody can understand. Higher retention of knowledge. So the students, they are using mobile technologies, smartphones. So definitely they'll be using it more number of times. Therefore, there will be higher retention of knowledge, foster intellectual curiosity. So looking at this, the student will come to know that, oh, this technology can be used for the subject of engineering graphics in this way. So then a new thought process will be created in their mind. The new thoughts will be triggered in their mind, that now how can we think that how this technology can be applicable to other branches or other subjects as well. So that is how it is going to foster intellectual curiosity among the students. So as we say that the governing bodies of engineering colleges and other, their AICT, UGC. So okay, so but they always ask a question in their audit, that what kind of teaching learning, innovative teaching learning method you are using. So this is augmented reality is a best fit in that category. So you can integrate this technology for teaching learning and you can demonstrate the benefits of that, and you can get the points which are assigned in this. So you can see there is a 3D model. You have taken example of this 3D model, and whatever the basic concepts of augmented reality technology we have understood earlier, you can see how the same 3D model is getting access using augmented reality software. So you can see I'm enlarging this view. This is a hexagon. Okay, so this is augmented reality software of PTC company, that is Parametric Technology Corporation, and this is a 2D image which we were talking about, which we discussed earlier, and this 2D image is in the form of a hexagon which is called as thing mark. It is called as thing mark, and you can see the green colored and the black colored pattern embedded in that. So the computer vision algorithms, they make use of the deep learning techniques and they recognize this pattern. So after recognizing this pattern, you can see the box is positioned, and then once the box is positioned where the position is known to the software, then it triggers or sends the 3D model created in the software. So you can see the 3D model which I have shown to you, which is now being placed at that particular location. Okay, so this is how augmented reality technology works for the subject of engineering graphics. So you can think the same application in your areas. So This was the first figure which we developed, first block diagram. How this technology works. So these diagrams, such type of diagrams you will not find on Google. These are the self-created diagram after understanding AI technology. And we provided more number of facilities. So same facilities are added in the second diagram that you can see. This is the figure which illustrates retrieval of 3D model using the AR app. You can see the student is accessing the 3D model using a smartphone. In the next figure you can see augmented 3D models overlaid on the ThinkMark. So what is augmented reality technology? It overlays the 3D information, a layer of 3D information in the real world. It lays means it augments the information. So you can see that is a normal paper on which this 2D views, orthographic views, they are printed, and you can see at the bottom green, this one I have enlarged. So students can scan this ThinkMark or the code, 2D code, wherein the 3D model they will be able to access the 3D model about that problem. Similarly, you can see another problem here. Student accessing that green colored ThinkMark through mobile, and they are able to see that 3D model of the 2D object there and there itself on their mobile. And this is more interesting. You can see here, as I said in our earlier discussion, I made it clear that the technologies can be disruptive. They has the power and capability to eradicate the old ways and methods of working, which I have already told you. So you can see that we have created a magic book for the subject of engineering graphics. It means that whatever the books for engineering graphics are available in the market, like say ND Bhatt ka book, NH Dubey ka jo book hai na, so those books will be removed from the market because of this technology. So therefore one has to be a technology tracker, otherwise they will be locked in the old technologies, which is a big problem. So this is the new magic book we have created for the subject of engineering graphics, where only the student has to scan and he will get the solution about that problem. So that was augmented reality in teaching learning. Going ahead, we used augmented reality in question paper setting. So that is how we developed innovative question paper setting technique in the same subject of engineering graphics. So you can see that on the right hand side 4 figures are there, and on the left hand side 1 figure is there. So left hand side is a problem and right hand side is a solution. So out of the option A, B, C, D, one of them is the solution, and on the left hand side there is a problem. So these were the conventional methods of asking questions, objective questions in the subject of engineering graphics. You can see 7 to 8 questions. So now we can leverage augmented reality technology there. You can see there at the bottom we have replaced the question with a ThinkMark, with the 2D image, with the code. So every student will have a different set of problem. So once the student scan that ThinkMark, he will going to have his own problem. Okay, so variety of problems can be asked to the students and they can be tested, their knowledge can be tested in the subject of engineering graphics. So you can see here the student making use of augmented reality technology for scanning the ThinkMark during the examination. These are the images captured when you are taking the test during a case study we conducted. So thereafter we sent a questionnaire, a feedback to the students. They rated, and accordingly the feedback analysis was done, and it was found that the comparison found that student has shown a good performance using AR as compared to the conventional. So another image, student interacting with the updated AR model. So after gaining success in this, then we thought of planning to implement this AR tool in many other courses. So engineering drawing was there. So natural progression of engineering drawing in our engineering is machine drawing. So in theory of vibration, physics, chemistry, in all other subjects we are planning to implement. It is also possible to create an AR effect without using markers, which is known as markerless AR. So now going ahead, there will be no use of markers. So up till now we discussed marker based technology, but now soon in the market the Sony company is going to bring markerless AR. So imagine how exciting the future is. So Sony has developed markerless AR, which they can call smart AR instead of using 2D markers. Smart AR can generate on-screen virtual images of everyday objects such as menus and posters. The next slide you can see how the government of various countries, they are investing in AR and VR technology for education for. So including India, there are many countries who are investing heavily in education for. So once the student gets conversant with the AR technology, as I said, he'll become an expert. So that is how the main job of education for, that is to build the next generation workforce through education for. So here are the, so here I have prepared a table. What are the various technologies which I have already listed at the in the earlier discussion of this presentation: augmented reality, virtual reality, IoT, artificial intelligence, big data, machine learning, deep learning, simulation, cloud computing. So what are the software skills required for this, and what are the employment opportunities available in the market? AR expert, VR expert, IoT expert, you can see, and what are the expertise required in that area. So this is the table which I have prepared, which may be a small help to the student. You can see this is the video for the innovative teaching learning method. You can see the hexagonal thing mark. So the student will scan that hexagonal thing mark to get the 3D view of the object. So he can scan it there and there itself, and he will be able to visualize the 3D view. He will be able to rotate top, left, right, bottom, and he will be able to understand the object and construct the 2D view accordingly. So this is how augmented reality will be useful in understanding or constructing 2D views from the 3D object. Yes, you can see here how the different objects of the 3D model can be separated using exploded view option in CAD softwares. So now the same can be visualized in augmented reality. So it will be very easy for the students to understand the 3D objects of a solid model when imagining separately.
Our lathe machines, and this is our shaper machine. This is the area where crank rocker mechanism is housed. We cannot see it initially, so by using augmented reality we can see there and there itself by scanning this thing mark. Now I'll scan the thing mark. So there it is. This is the crank rocker mechanism. We have added two sliders for X and Y axis. This is for Y axis. It is a 360-degree rotation. And now we'll play the sequence of working. So this is how crank rocker mechanism works.
So in this video you can see the 2D image telling how to perform the soldering operation using augmented reality. In this You can use augmented reality to tell the information about the equipments available in the laboratory when no one is there. We have seen the videos on augmented reality. From that, one can understand what is the potential of augmented reality in education. We have seen how augmented reality can be utilized in classroom teaching, how also it can be utilized during the practical sessions. So, sensitizing and energizing from this fact, the participants who are attending this workshop, they can think how they can use augmented reality in their own domains. So that will be one of the good takeaway of this workshop. So now here I would like to discuss a few initiatives at Sardar Patel College of Engineering, Mumbai, which we have taken as far as Education 4 is concerned. So here we try to implement or frame a Education 4 curriculum, wherein you can see that all our regular theory and practical courses are included, and at the end you can see that industry 4 value added courses we have included. So student they will be getting an opportunity. Of course these courses we have included as choice based courses for the students. So students who are having tilt in this direction, you can see introduction to augmented reality in the blue colored domain, introduction to artificial intelligence and machine learning, introduction to big data analytics, introduction to cloud computing, introduction to internet of things, introduction to virtual reality. So students will be getting an opportunity to attend these courses, and once the student started gaining knowledge in this direction, we started assigning the BTech projects to the students. So the BTech projects also are assigned on Education 4 technologies. Our MTech projects are also being done on Education 4. PhD also we have given the same research areas of Industry 4. We started giving awareness lectures to our students. Then using these technologies, we are also developing new set of experiments. So whatever the initiatives in the videos you have seen, we are trying to transfer for creating new set of experiment using these Education 4 technologies. So to go ahead in this direction, knowledge and expertise is required. So some of our faculties and students, they are doing online courses on these new technologies on SWAYAM platform, NPTEL and Coursera, which already you are aware of. The development of innovative teaching learning method you have seen. We are sending our students for internship training in the industries where they are implementing Industry 4 technologies. Industrial visit also in those companies only. And we are helping the industries in and around Mumbai how to implement Industry 4 technologies in their industry. So our BTech and MTech students have helped these industries to implement Industry 4 in their areas. So we come at the end of this lecture. This is the last slide. So Education 4, we have done a lot of discussion on Education 4, and by then everybody might have realized the significance of Education 4, and that is the reason why Atharva Engineering College has organized a virtual workshop on Education 4. So at the end, how we sum up, a qualified and skilled workforce is indispensable for the introduction and adoption of Industry 4. The technical knowledge required is high. Therefore, it is a big responsibility of academic industries institution to fulfill the requirement of the talent pool, for which a strategic plan needs to be developed in this context. And therefore, a small step towards the development of the same will be evolution of Education 4. So here I end my talk on augmented reality in Education 4. I once again thank Dr. Kallurkar sir for giving me an opportunity to deliver this talk. I thank Pragya madam, Sachin sir for relentlessly working to make this workshop a grand success. Thank you.
Good evening, all. On behalf of Atharva College of Engineering, I would like to thank Dr. Rajesh Buktar for his insightful presentation today. Education 4.0 is a result of innovation of Industry 4.0, where technology and human needs to be coordinated to promote cutting-edge promises. Institutions with higher education always have concerns about whether our teaching is adequate in impressing students into learning about core concepts. Are the students able to apply, develop and transfer the necessary concepts and skills to solve the real life problems? Sir has explained very well about augmented reality. Augmented reality transforms the way teachers conduct lectures. This not only helps professors to prepare lessons more interactive but also students, making it easier to understand the concept. We are grateful for the time and effort Sir has taken to share his knowledge and experiences. I believe we will take the benefit immediately from the advanced technology Sir had suggested. I would like to thank you for all the participants for attending the presentation, dedicating their time and sharing their interest. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Thank you very much for participating in this webinar series.
Now, the next talk is by Mr. Sachin Gawane. Sir is the Assistant Professor in Information Technology Department at Atharva College of Engineering, Mumbai. Sir has completed his Masters from Pillai College of Engineering, Mumbai with distinction, and currently Sir is pursuing his PhD in Computer Engineering. Along with the professional college degrees, Sir also has the following certifications on his account. He is Microsoft Certified Professional, Microsoft Certified Application Developer, and a KUKA Certified Professional. With 11 years of academic experience, Sir has more than 30 publications on his account, which includes some eminent IEEE conferences, Scopus, and elsewhere journals. Sir is the editor in an IEEE conference at Atharva College of Engineering and author of 4 books with TechMax publication. With a vast experience in online teaching learning, his teaching learning process includes innovative online portals like VizIQ, YouTube, having his own channel, and more than 4,000 views for his sessions. Recently, Sir was awarded with Best Paper Award in IEEE conference and have also received minor research grant by University of Mumbai to work in the domain of data science. Today's talk by Sachin Gawane sir focuses on skill-based learning. With the zest to make students ready for the upcoming jobs, current education system is outdated. And we will learn more in depth from Sir's talk today. I thank Professor Sachin Gawane sir for his session. I am sure all the participants for Education 4.0 will get valuable knowledge from his session.
Good day, everyone. Rather, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Education 4.0, 3 days webinar organized by Atharva College of Engineering, Mumbai. Again, I would like to congratulate and welcome you all for these workshops, and thanks for being a part of this. To begin with Industry 4.0, we already know what exactly Industry 4.0 talks about. In essence, Industry 4.0 is the trend towards automation. It talks about data exchange in manufacturing technologies and processes, which includes cyber physical systems, Internet of Things, industrial IoT, cloud computing, cognitive computing, artificial intelligence, and many more. In order to prepare our students as per upcoming industry needs, current conventional education system will be outdated. Skill-based learning is the need of the society today. Whatever skills industry needs, it is the responsibility of ours, that is academicians, to nurture our students accordingly. Well, myself, Professor Sachin Gavane, and if you haven't noticed, I am Indian. And just like majority of Indians, guess what I have studied? Engineering, computer engineering. Now, it's really crazy growing in India. If you are growing up in India, you are either becoming a doctor, an engineer, or a family disappointment. Jokes apart. Well, here I would like to keep one scenario in front of you. As a parent or teacher, we might have observed that at beginning, many students are super excited with their college or the course which they have opted. With new laptop, newly found freedom, and so many new things to look forward. But sometimes that excitement didn't last for the longer time. Fast forward a year, some of them feel demotivated and found that whatever is going is not relevant to them. They feel that classroom teaching is a big boring concept. They feel this conventional teaching is not suiting them and is not relevant to what they are interested in. Their inbuilt skills doesn't match with what they are learning. Their interest lies in something else, and hence they feel that while entering the classroom as if they're entering into a prison. Some students start feeling themselves as outliers in the classrooms, right? And some of them get a feeling that there will be a light after a 4 years long tunnel full of black. And if you observe, even if you might have observed that some people end up saying education have failed them. The reason behind all these things, this does not happen with everyone, but majority of the students are experiencing this. And the reason behind this is conventional outdated teaching methods. Now, I met different personalities, different students from different backgrounds, met many incredible people from different genres like engineering, architects, doctors, economics students, art students, and I started noticing some interesting facts. And the fact is, some of them were feeling that somehow education has failed them. With context to this, I would like to give you one task. Everyone will open your mobile phone. Everyone will open your mobile. Everyone has Android phone with you. Kindly open your phone. Everyone, please. Okay. And in your phone, in Google Chrome browser, you type University Makes Me. Don't press enter in your Google Chrome search engine. Just type University Makes Me. Okay. And you will get the first automatic searches. University makes me anxious. University makes me depressed. University makes me feel like a failure. University makes me feel stupid. These are the first 4 automatic searches which you get in the Google search engine. If you can do this exercise on your mobile right now, just type the 3 words University Makes Me and just see what are the automatic searches you guys are getting. As we are searching on the Google, by the way, a tech giant that happens to hire a lot of engineers, 15% of their staff is not having any professional college degree. 15% of their staff is not having any professional college degree, but still they're working in Google. Why? Why so? Because our education system is outdated. I can prove it. How many of you are having a smartphone? Now only you have done one exercise on smartphone. So almost all of us have a smartphone. If I would question you, how many of you are using the same smartphone from last 2 years? Very few of us, you will raise the hand that you are using the same smartphone from last 2 years. Now, if I say, how many of you are using the same smartphone for last 5 years? The same smartphone from last 5 years, right? From last 5 years, you are using the same smartphone, right? Hardly 2% of us. And if I reframe the question, how many of you are using the same smartphone from last 10 years? Of course, no one of us, we are using the same smartphone from last 10 years. Rather, you would rather say that, am I gone crazy? How can we use such an outdated phone? How can we use a technology which is 10 years old? How can we use the smartphone which from the last 10 years, how can we use the same smartphone? We will definitely not use the outdated technology in our smartphone, because we want latest operating system, latest technology in our mobile, in our laptops, in our home appliances as well. So in our small things, we want latest technology, but platform that impacts the entire humanity is not updated. Platform that impacts the entire humanity is more than 100 years old, hasn't been updated. We live in the information age. This old standardized education model is based on linearity, conformity, and batching, right? I would say it's almost getting obsolete. We live in information age. Something which you learn at the beginning of the university is obsolete by the time you graduate. And that's the reason Peter Diamandis said, between 2016 and 2022, there will be as many technological changes as many as we had between 1900 and 2000. The most important sentence said by Sir Peter Diamandis, that between 2016 and 2022, there will be as many technological changes as many as we had between 1900 and 2000. That's more than 2000% growth. Imagine, that's more than 2000% growth in just in between 2016 and 2022. That is almost 6 years, right? And that's just the beginning of the exponential growth. Now, I would like to tell you one story by showing you one picture. Everyone will look into the picture and will observe. So this is the picture. You can see this picture. In this picture, there are people sitting and there's a guy reading a newspaper. Look at this picture, everyone. I'll give you 5 seconds. This picture was taken at late 1800 at a cigar factory. So you can see there are gentlemen rolling cigar, and there is a guy who is very well dressed and reading the newspaper. What do you think this guy is doing? What do you think this guy's job is? He's sitting there with proper shoes, coat, proper hat, well dressed. All other people are working. He's the only one reading the newspaper. Well, some of you would like to say that this guy is a boss, keeping watch on everyone, whether they are working or not. Some of you will also say that this guy is a supervisor. But your predictions are wrong. This guy is not a supervisor. This guy is not a boss. He is not keeping watch on anyone. This guy is a lector. I would like to spell Lector. His job is to read newspaper and entertain people who are doing boring job of rolling cigars. You know, every day they have to roll the cigars and they have to do this repetitive task every day. So obviously this is a boring job, and obviously they need some entertainment. Okay, and when there was no earphones, or that technology was not that upgraded, that time his job was to read newspaper and entertain people, right? So his job is lector, Lector. Now the fact that you don't even recognize this job is very simple, because this job has disappeared. It doesn't exist anymore. Anyone now can use earphones for entertainment. This shows that in upcoming technology, many existing jobs may get disappear and many new jobs will come into the market. So it is the time that we have to prepare our students for the upcoming market or industry needs, right? These are the list of the jobs which we have now, and these jobs were not into existence 5 years before. So it is not only like that technology upgradation will only make certain jobs to get disappear, but eventually this is the slide which is showing that new jobs comes into the picture, and for this new jobs new skills are required, and as an academician it is our responsibility to develop our students in that genre to meet the upcoming industry needs. So this is the list of the jobs. Many of the interesting jobs that we have didn't exist 5 years ago. What do? We don't live in the age of standardization. We live in the age of customization, right? Now, let me tell you an interesting story. Did you guys know this guy? His name is Kevin Systrom. This guy worked in the marketing job, but his skills lies in programming, right? During the day, he worked in a marketing company. Whole day he worked very hard in the marketing agency, but his skills were in programming. So after coming home, after having his dinner, whatever time he used to get, he used to open his laptop and he used to code every day. And he was so deeply immersed in his skill that he ended bringing an app, and that app is called Bourbon. It is Burbn. He later, after a few iterations, named that app as Instagram. We all are using Instagram in our day-to-day life today. So he is a founder of Instagram, and what he did at the age of 28, he sold that app for $1 billion to Facebook. See, his skills, because of his skills, he was doing this programming. He ended up making some product like Instagram, and he earned $1 billion at the age of 28 by selling that product to Facebook. And when I talk about Facebook, I talk about Mark Zuckerberg. And when I talk about Mark Zuckerberg, again, I would like to say he is a college dropout, right? So what I want to say here is we should motivate our students to enhance their skills. We should try to find best among them and should provide platform for the same. Now here, the wheel of modern education. We should help students to enhance their skills. Maybe like-minded students can be clubbed together. That is, students with common interest can be clubbed. They can discuss about their skills with each other and get deeply immersed in the talk. This deep immersions will help them to bring best out of them. And with this wheel, if they drive their car, they will reach to the destination from which they never want to come back. So what I wanted to explain from this wheel of modern education is students should be able to identify their skills in which they can flourish. They should find out the like-minded people, those who are equally interested in their skills. And those like-minded peoples are finding out the correct tribes. And then they should attend some short meetings, some discussions with such like-minded peoples. Those discussions or meetings can be deep immersions, right? And through that deep immersions, eventually they will bring best out of them. So this wheel, we have to use this wheel for modern education. And with this wheel, if students drive their car, definitely they will reach to the destination. They will reach to the destination where they wanted to be, and they will never want to come back because they will enjoy, because they have worked hard for this and they are at the destination which they wanted to be, right? No two people are same, and neither should be their education journey. We don't live in the age of standardization. We live in the age of customization, and everyone is different. and have its own style of learning. No two people are same, neither this should be their education journey. Of course, no two people are same. Everyone has siblings, so obviously our parents don't say which one are you. They know that everyone is different, right? The smartest people in the world, the outliers, the game changers, the moonshot takers, they never quit their education. They simply escape from the outdated education system. These are your Mark Zuckerberg. These are your Kevin Systrom. These are your Einstein. We admire them. We want to be like them. And again, we go back and adopt outdated education system. So as I clearly said, you should be able to enhance your skills. To enhance the skills, there are teachers with the students. There are so many online platforms like Udemy, which showcases skills from artificial intelligence, machine learning, till photography. So we can use any online platform and any sort of skills we can flourish with. And hence, from the outdated education system, we should go to the modernized education system. We live in the age of we live in the age of customization, right? Think about, how could university be only for 4 years? How could learning end after 4 years? How could learning ever end, right? With this context, Sir Albert Einstein said, once you stop learning, you start dying. This is not just a quote, but has a physiological application, has a psychological application as well. And on the contrary, funnily, he has also said, the only thing that interferes with my learning is education. It's about time we change that. It's about time we become dean of our own never-ending university. It's time to make our students ready for challenges in industry. And I would rather say, it is the prime responsibility of all academicians. This is just a brief idea about the wheel of modern education, Education 4.0. The past webinars also must have given you valuable information about Education 4.0. Further webinars will take you into the depth of Education 4.0. I'm sure you enjoyed this session and must have received some valuable information from it. Enjoy this 3 days webinar by Atharva College of Engineering by different experts. We appreciate your presence for this workshop. I would want you all to ask your queries by putting comments, or there is a chat window which is available for all. You can ask your queries there and we'll be happy to answer you. Thank you, everyone.
Now, the next talk is by Ms. Samidha Kurle. Ma'am is the Assistant Professor in Computer Engineering Department at Atharva College of Engineering. Ma'am has completed her Master in Computer Engineering from University of Mumbai, and currently Ma'am is pursuing her PhD in Computer Engineering. Ma'am is having 15 years of teaching experience as academics and as a freelancer. Today's talk by Ms. Samidha Kurle Ma'am focuses on Industrial Revolution, Education 4.0, trends related to Education 4.0, and fundamental digital skills required for the instructor.
Good evening, everyone. I, Professor Samidha Kurle, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Engineering, Atharva College of Engineering, welcome you all for the second part of the session on the topic, the Wheel of Modern Education. Thank you, Professor Sachin Gavani, for giving us insight on future education. The presentation will discuss the features at the development stages of education, along with industry revolution and skill set enhancement for educationalists. Okay, you can see what topics we are going to cover in this session: Industry Revolution 4.0, Education 4.0, trends related to Education 4.0, and fundamental digital skills for instructor. Okay. So before I jump into the education revolution, I'll brief you all on industry revolution. As you all can see, here are 4 stages of Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 and 4.0. Industry Revolution 1.0, it refers to the mechanization of work which our ancestors used to perform manually. It was all about going from hand production methods to machines. It was after the introduction of steam which made the mechanization of work possible. Then came Industrial Revolution 2.0. Industrial Revolution 2.0 is the transformation which was brought about by the introduction of electricity in the various processes. This made the use of assembly lines possible. In this phase, large factories and companies began to use more technologies to mass production of goods. The next is Industry Revolution 3.0. It was during this period of transformation era where more and more automation was used in the process to perform the tasks which were performed by humans with the help of computers and electronics. And now it is an era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. The fourth era of industry is the era of cyber physical systems like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, cloud computing, etc. It is driven by smart, interconnected, progressive environment. It is about the development of smart products and processes. And integration across enterprise. Everything is interconnected. The entire process is integrated. Now we'll see the evolution in education. And we'll see how it relates with the Industrial Revolution. Education is evolved hand in hand with Industrial Revolution. As you can see, in each stage of Industrial Revolution, the employability skills requirement is different. It was different in Industrial Revolution 1.0, then in 2.0, 3.0. The skills requirement was different in every revolution. And now we are in the phase of Industrial Revolution 4.0. And to keep ourselves and our students ready for the future, it is need of an hour to upskill yourself and identify the role of education system and learning practices. It is a continuous process. We have to keep ourselves updated and develop the skills to work in the future. If you see Education 1.0, it was teacher-centric. The teacher was the boss of the class. Teacher used to deliver the content and students were the passive participants. Students used to download the information delivered by the teacher. It was purely classroom teaching. Students used to receive the content. There were no active participants in the classroom by students. And there were no technology used in the classroom in Education 1.0 stage. Then came Education 2.0. We can say it is an open access phase. The access to information was possible with the aid of internet access. Whoever is having an access to internet can have the access to the information available on the internet. So the information was available to the student. Then came the Education 3.0. It is knowledge producing. Okay, it is a co-construction of knowledge with peers and teachers. There were the interaction between student and teacher and student. the student and the other group of the students. So there were interaction. It was an interactive learning with question answer sessions, reviews, and quizzes and discussions, labs, and other project based learning. I can give you one example that the content which you want to teach in a class can be delivered online, and the students can work on assignments together in a class, right? So the assignment is based on the content which you have delivered online. So students can interact in the class for that assignment, and as a team they can solve that assignment. So there were some knowledge sharing. So students can share the knowledge with each other, even they can discuss it with the teacher, and it is a teamwork to solve the assignment. So by sharing the knowledge, it is possible to solve an assignment and work on an assignment. Then came Education 4.0. It is innovation based. It is a response to the needs of Industry Revolution 4.0, where human and technology are aligned to enable new possibilities. People with common interest can come together to work on similar ideas and create innovations. There won't be any boundary to anyone to reach out globally. And that is why it is anytime, anywhere. Education 4.0 is a school of thought that encourages non-traditional thinking when it comes to imparting education. Education 4.0 uses technology-based tools and resources to drive education in non-traditional way. Okay, that means the student is no longer in a traditional classroom learning from teacher, by using the traditional ways like textbooks and the blackboards and pens and papers only. Instead of that, with Education 4.0, you can have a remote students. They can sign into their classrooms using the internet through modes like massive online open courses or video chat or dialing in through voice calls to learn materials that are more dynamic in nature with peers, right? Now, Education 4.0 ensures that the teaching experience is similar to the working experience by creating similar environment for both. Now we'll see the trends related to Education 4.0. Now, what are the trends? The first trend, which you can see over here, it is learning can take place anywhere, anytime. And this is a perfect example. Now we are connected with each other through internet. We are live here, Education 4.0. So we are not present at the same place right now, but we are connected and we are sharing knowledge through this platform. So learning can take place anywhere, anytime. So the students who wants to enroll or who wants to learn any specific topic or a course, they can enroll for that course, and they can attend the classes virtually. And whatever time is suitable to them, they can log into the system and they can go through the lectures and attempt the exams. That is why the learning can take place anywhere, anytime. The second is customized learning, personalized to individual student. Students don't have to learn everything. Whatever is their interest, they can learn that specific topic or the course. Okay? So, and with that, how do they want to learn it? The third trend, that is mode of learning, choices with the student. What is their learning style? The learning style is different for different students. Some students are visual learners, some are audio learners, some wants to reflect after learning. So the learning style is different, and the mode of learnings, different mode of learnings are available now. So there are various different technologies are available, and like for example, game-based learning, augmented reality, virtual courses are available. Then flipped classroom is there. So the students will select how do they want to learn. Next trend is exposure to more project-based learning. Now, instead of writing an exam or writing an assignment, the students would like to explore more on practicals. They would like to work on projects. So if they get the exposure to work on the project, definitely they are gonna enhance the other skills as well. Like nowadays in industry, the demand is for the skills and demands are people management and coordination, critical thinking. There are so many other skill sets are required, and the students or any person can develop these skill sets when they will work with the team. And if they work on a project, definitely they are going to get the real experience of working in industry. That is what is the next trend. That is internships, collaborative projects, and mentoring projects. In some of the universities, internship is compulsory. Even some students work on collaborative projects. There are tie-ups, industry and academic tie-ups are there. So when students or the teachers, they are working on some projects, definitely they enhance their skill set. Okay. Sixth, the students will be assessed differently. In traditional education system, the students were assessed by exams, theoretical exams and practical exams. This is going to change. This is definitely going to change because every person is not same. So we cannot assess every student by way of writing an exam. So the assessment will be different in future. The criteria will be different. Next is applying theoretical knowledge to practice to develop logical and reasoning skills. Now, with the revolution in the industry, if you see Industry Revolution 4.0, everything is automated, everything is connected with the new technologies like artificial intelligence, robotics, AR, VR, cloud computing. The lots of data is available, and through that data, the organizations can get the insights, can predict the future, can take certain decisions, and for that they will need people with a very good logical and reasoning skills. So we have to focus on developing logical and reasoning skills of our student, right? The next trend is opinion of all stakeholders to design and update curriculum. Student is a stakeholder for an education system. So the opinion of student will be considered for designing and updating the curriculum. Then I'll come to micro degrees. Now in any university, you will see there are undergraduate courses, 4 years undergraduate courses or degrees are there, and 2 years or 3 years postgraduate courses are there. With that will also be there, but with that, the concept of micro degrees will become more popular. Now, what exactly is the micro degrees? It is, you can say in a simple language, it is certification. It is an accelerated education to keep yourself updated, or even if you're working in industry, to upskill yourself, you will have to do some certifications, right? So that is about the micro degrees. Next trend is professor shadowing. Professor shadowing is what? Like, there will be a mentor for a student. Now, teachers will become facilitator. They will become mentor for the students, and they will guide the students properly by identifying their strengths. They will focus on their strengths rather than their weaknesses, and they will give the direction to the students. There will be a proper guidance to the students through this concept. And the last one, which I'm going to discuss, is campus design of institutes or universities to fulfill all learning needs. Here, all learning needs, I mean, here, there are students with different learning styles. Then there is a change in the learning way, change in the technology, new technologies have come up. So considering all these things, the universities and institutes will have to design their campus accordingly. This is all about trends related to education. Now we'll move forward to fundamental digital skills for instructor. Now to be a part of Education 4.0, we also have to upgrade ourselves, upskill ourselves as a teacher. See, the first digital skill I would like to discuss is create or record and edit video clips. We should be able to record our video clips and edit them. And for that, lots of software tools are available. I have given few examples here, the Screencast-O-Matic or OBS Studio. These are the examples to record and edit your video clips. Second is conduct online lectures efficiently. Okay, so that you will be connected with your students. There won't be any barrier. You don't have to present physically in the classroom to deliver a lecture. See, during this lockdown period, many of you must have conducted the lectures online and be connected with your students, right? So that is the fastest and a very good option to deliver a lecture. And various tools are available for that. For example, Zoom, Google Meet, Google Classroom, Course Networking, VizIQ. There are many different softwares and tools are available for this. You have to select these tools or softwares depending on your requirement. Now the third is the social networking websites to connect, discover new content and grow professionally. As we already discussed in Education 4.0, you can connect globally. There is no boundary. The people with common interest can work on similar ideas and create innovations or create new possibilities. So what are the ways to connect with the people or to reach out globally? You can use Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and make most of use of it. The fourth is the use of blogs and wikis. To share the knowledge, we can use the blogs and wikis so that the students will share their knowledge with their peers and teachers on these blogs. Next is create digital learning content or presentations, taking into consideration of all type of learners for active participation and effective learning. So whenever we'll be creating a presentation for our students, we have to keep it in our mind that all students are not same. The learning style, the way they learn is different. So the content should serve all types of learners. It should serve audio learner, it should serve visual learner. There should be some reflection, right? So we have to design our presentations accordingly. For example, if you're going to deliver a lecture on some specific topic, you can put a video link in it so that they can understand the concept by watching the video. After you explained a subtopic in your topic, you can post a quiz or you can post a poll so that student will reflect on that, right? So there should be delivering, then reflection, everything should be taken care of in your presentation, and your presentation should be attractive and so that the students will be attentive and they will participate actively in that lecture or in that presentation. And the next is create digital quizzes, and for that also there are various different tools are available. Few of them are Profs and Google Forms. So these are the digital skills the instructor should have. Next, I would like to discuss about the top 10 skills in 2020. These are published in the economic forums, and these are the 10 top 10 skills will be demanded in the 2020. You can see here complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, then emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, and cognitive flexibility. How the people will develop these skills? When they will work in a team, they will connect with the people, they will work on a common interest, automatically they will develop all the skills in them. Like if we say the first skill, complex problem solving, if they are working on some project, if the problem definition is given to them to get the solution, definitely their skill to solve the complex problem will get developed. Next is critical thinking. What exactly is the critical thinking? Critical thinking is about like what has happened in the past, what is happening right now in the current, and what may happen in the future. So this analysis, this thinking need to be developed. And I guess, I'm sure like with the trend of education 4.0, all these kinds of skill set is gonna enhance in the student or any of the person who is working in that environment. Okay. With this, I would like to end my session. I'll summarize what we have discussed in the presentation. We have discussed what is education 4.0. Then we have seen the different versions of education. We have seen what is the relationship between industry and education, how they have evolved, and the skills needed to tackle with education 4.0. I hope you have understood the points which we have covered in this session. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you very much, wonderful speakers, for sharing your spectacular presentation. Professor Samidha Kurle, your topic was absolute need of the hour. The wheel of modern education which you wheeled before us today is truly relevant. The manner in which you started from Industrial Revolution 4.0 and proceeded to Education 4.0 was really appreciable. The fundamental digital skills for instructor which you showcased before us, I'm too sure that so many people are going to be benefited from it. Professor Sachin Gavane, your enthusiasm is contagious, and we hope that after this, audience will never going to look at the education the same way. Your power to explain a crucial topic like Education 4.0 in an interactive way was really delightful. The insight you gave into the field of Education 4.0, we can actually identify with it. Thank you again to both of you.
Good evening all. No situation can stop the teaching learning process, and Education 4.0 webinar series is the example of this. On behalf of Atharva College of Engineering, I, Jyoti Kolab, HOD XTC, take an opportunity to thank all the dignitaries to organize the webinar series on Education 4.0. I would like to thank Honorable Sunil Rane Sir, Executive President, Atharva Group of Institute, for his continuous moral support and encouragement. I express my deep gratitude to Dr. Rajesh Buktar Sir, HOD Mechanical Engineering, Dean Academics, SP College of Engineering, Andheri, for his wonderful session. I am very thankful to Professor Sachin Gavane Sir and Professor Samidha Kurle Ma'am, that is Assistant Professor of Atharva College of Engineering, for his wonderful session. I am thankful to Dr. SP Kallurkar Sir, Principal ACE, and Dr. P.N. Nemade, Director ACE. Lastly, I thank everyone who has attended this webinar.